Me no kwe la funudalo. Oh me no. Oh me to. Asui. Oh me la funula. Oh me la funula. Oh me no. Oh me to. Asui. On va pas les voix, dans les voix. On va pas les voix, dans les voix. Les voix, dans les voix. On va pas les voix, dans les voix. On va pas les voix, dans les voix. Level, I got level, I got level. Mekadeo malelo, adela mekadeo malelo silo yo. Mekadeo malelo, mekadeo malelo silo. Mekadeo malelo, adela mekadeo malelo silo yo. Mekadeo malelo, mekadeo malelo. Mekadeo malelo, adela mekadeo.
Atakwi and some other herbs and put it into an alcoholic bottle with an alcohol, and the woman will be taking a little bit from time to time so that her wounds and everything and the body will come back to normal. So Atakwi has so many uses. Hello.
Hello.
I said I am doing, and that's why they work with me. I don't know, but they had never really controlled me or give me orders that you should be like this, should be like that, go and be a Rasta, go and be, no, they never gave me that. I'm just me, I live my normal life, but they work with me. But I have not been teaching about dwarfs because most of the time the dwarfs that people talk about are all scam. So I hadn't been teaching, but recently there was an issue that came up, and I had to get one of the dwarfs from the spiritual room, and then I mean I haven't even given it drink for almost 2 to 3 years. But then when I got it out and brought it in, I was looking for another dwarf that was a Japanese dwarf that I was working with. I didn't get it from Japan, I got it from Africa even before I knew that it was a Japanese tea. So I was looking for it, I couldn't get it. And then the one that is the one I had been working with, there's a Ghanaian or African or everyone just told me that he is still there. So I went and brought it here, and everybody become fire. Started shaking everybody, throwing people down. Then I gave it to the boys, and they are using it daily, and I think they are seeing changes and real things happening to them. So when you come, just remind me of the dwarfs that are with me, and then I will introduce 1 or 2 to you to work. Okay?
Yes, thank you, Papa.
You're welcome. Thank you very much. So I prayed for everybody, and I'm thanking the spirits and also asking them to protect all of you through the week, open doors for you, give you good health, and make things that you are trying to achieve come your way. You are living is the one that is going to live when you drop this physical body off. So your essay is your God. It actually is the only God that you should look at first before anything else, because it is the totality of everything. Because without its approval, nothing happens in your life. Even for you to be rich, to be poor, to be clever, to get a good wife, to get a bad wife, it's all decided by your essay. That's how the Aves look at essay, as one of the paramount among the Trinity. That's why we give a lot of a name. You know here we give a lot of a surname to our children because it is the most celebrated God among the Trinity. Maoga Sobolisa, you will never hear anybody giving their children the name Sobolisa. And you will not hear anyone giving their children or their business Kitikata. But you hear people calling Esenyu now. And then due to somebody's doing, that caused me to die in a traumatic way, my anger towards the person who caused my death will be so much that I would want him also to die and join me to see if it is enjoyable or it's not enjoyable. That is the mentality of these people who die traumatic death. Okay, my son died before. I had a son. I think I told this story many times. He died in an accident. When he died, it was a car accident that was caused by one of my cars, and one of my sons was driving the car. The senior brother was driving the car when this accident happened, because I wasn't in the car, but what I heard is that before the accident, he was trying to he was a cerebral palsy person, so he couldn't talk. But when the brother was over speeding, he became afraid. So he was trying to tell the brother by trying to hold him, but the brother didn't really pay attention to him before the accident occurred. And he was the only one who died in the accident. So what had happened is that he had been appearing to his brother sometime on the window and all kind of thing, even before he would be buried. So we had to do certain rituals and ceremonies to stop him appearing, because he was basically angry that it is because of your negligence that I died. So if we hadn't done the things that we did, maybe his brother would have also died and followed in that. So and I also noticed another one in one of my senior brother's life. The junior brother had been saying all his life that he was suffering, and that the senior brother didn't really care for him. So in case during his suffering and he died, he's going to kill him. And that continued, but then my elder brother wasn't taking this serious. There was even a time that I went to do a reading somewhere, and this very message appeared that you have a senior brother whose junior brother died, and that junior brother is saying that he's going to kill him because of his negligence of his life without helping him. That's why he died. That's why he was doing the kind of job he was doing, and that job led to his death. When I told my brother, he got angry. He said, "Oh, okay, he killed me. What did I do? It is his own life and all this." And truly, truly, he killed him. That's my very personal story, and very, very dear to my heart, because they both were my senior brothers. And we were seeing it like this, as if it is not anything, but eventually it happened. And not that we couldn't prevent it, we could, but then the party that was alive was not believing that that person who died could kill him. But it does happen. It did happen, and some things like this do happen sometimes. So, out of anger, sometimes people who die traumatic death want to revenge. And then we have tantric power here, Papa. Why is okay? That's what I've just answered. Okay. Then we have then or goes into the clothing. So this cloth, your spirit or your inner self, your say, notes that this is your cloth and you are wearing every day. So it becomes your friend or brother, like in the Polidu Letesa, Amenovienye Awu. So it's like your cloth becomes your brother, it's become your friend. So your everything, your spirit is in it. If someone wants to harm you, according to Eve Voodoo, which had happened many times, if someone wants to harm you, if they steal your clothing or your jewelry or anything, they can use that because your essay is connected to those things that you use very often. They can use it to be able to attack your destiny, which is you, your inner self. Supposing your inner self is not already well strengthened, then it is easy for people to target you through that. But if your inner self is strengthened very well, then even if they use your clothing and everything, sometimes it will be very difficult for them to get to a proper result. So yes, that's why even me, when I want to call people who died and I want to invoke their spirits, I need something that the person had touched before when the person was alive. And once I get that, I can now try to connect, and I also will ask, where was the person buried? In which part of the world, which cemetery, the address, or just giving me location. And then when I start to do the reading, I can now transport myself to where the person's spirit is and connect with the person's spirit through the mirror and be able to communicate with the person and know what they want and what they are saying by me getting something that they had touched while they were in life. So this is true. People can also use that same technique to harm others if they so desire, and if they master the act of destruction, which is evil. We try as much as possible not to teach those negative aspects, because it will not benefit you, because everything you do, if you are successful in attacking somebody and destroying the person, don't forget, you will also pay for sure. That's why it is good to know that doing bad is good, but when you do it, be ready to receive the result, and you should accept the results that they are also good. Yes, to find out what happened before she died, and what was the situation in my father's house before the death. And then when we had that family, we call it death administration. So when we were having that meeting, my elder sister who died, she was a graduate teacher, and she was in the morgue. And before we would get her body to physical dead body to bury, they have to sit, the elders have to sit the whole family down to find out if there is any fight between the dead person and a living person. Because in our belief, if you and a dead person were fighting before the person died and you are alive, if they don't pacify the dead person or make some appeasement between you and the dead person, if you should visit the funeral grounds or even put money into the funeral or do something in connection with the funeral of that dead person, the dead person will kill you too. These are beliefs, and those beliefs are not only beliefs, but they were things that had happened over centuries and centuries, so people are aware that such things happen. So when a person dies in our Ewe community, usually there will be a meeting held to discuss the living people and the dead. So one time, my elder sister died, and there was a conflict in my biological father's house with other wives' children. And then one sister died. The other junior sisters were trying to defend their mother, that their mother was not having any problem with the dead person before the person died. Meanwhile, the truth was that their mother had had some conflict with the dead person before the person died, and that should have been brought to the surface, and everybody will address it. Then if there's anything to do to the dead person, to pacify the dead person before bringing the body to the house to be buried. So there was we were at the meeting, and then before I knew, my junior sister, who was standing and trying to defend the mother, just fell in front of all the elders, and immediately she has a seizure, and foam started coming from her mouth. I mean, a healthy person without who never had anything like that, just fell in front of everybody. And one of my cousin, who is a pastor, started saying rabba, and then I got angry. I told him, this is not rabba matter. This is one person is in the morgue already, and you want this other one to also to join her. So I just brought Akain out, and I called Akain, touch her, the person's head, and immediately the ghost left her, and she woke up. So these are things that happen physically. It is not story of anybody. It is not anybody far away. It is me, my own personal stories that people witness. So Akain is one that frightens certain kind of spirits. So especially traumatic death spirits or ghosts of people who died in Jobe. So it is not that he bring their listen to him, but they fear him. So when he is present, they cannot act. Thank you very much for that question. That's why they work with me. I don't know, but they had never really controlled me or give me orders that you should be like this, should be like that, go and be a Rasta, go and be. No, they never gave me that. I'm just me. I live my normal life, but they work with me. But I have not been teaching about dwarfs, because most of the time the dwarfs that people talk about are all scam. So I hadn't been teaching, but recently there was an issue that came up, and I had to get one of the dwarfs from the spiritual room, and then I haven't even given it drink for almost 2 to 3 years. But then when I got it out and brought it in, I was looking for another dwarf that was a Japanese dwarf that I was working with. I didn't get it from Japan. I got it from Africa even before I knew that it was a Japanese tea. So I was looking for it. I couldn't get it. And then the one that is the one I had been working with, there's a Ghanaian or African or everyone, just told me that he is still there. So I went and brought it here, and everybody become fire. Started shaking everybody, throwing people down. Then I gave it to the boys, and they are using it daily, and I think they are seeing changes and real things happening to them. So when you come, just remind me of the dwarfs that are with me, and then I will introduce 1 or 2 to you to work. Okay?
Yes, thank you, Papa.
You're welcome. Thank you very much. So I prayed for everybody, and I'm thanking the spirits and also asking them to protect all of you through the week, open doors for you, give you good health, and make things that you are trying to achieve come your way. You are living is the one that is going to live when you drop this physical body off. So your essay is your God. It actually is the only God that you should look at first before anything else, because it is the totality of everything. Because without its approval, nothing happens in your life. Even for you to be rich, to be poor, to be clever, to get a good wife, to get a bad wife, it's all decided by your essay. That's how the Aves look at essay as one of the paramount among the Trinity. That's why we give a lot of a name. You know here we give a lot of essay name to our children because it is the most celebrated God among the Trinity. Maoga Sobolisa, you will never hear anybody giving their children the name Sobolisa. And you will not hear anyone giving their children or their business Kitikata. But you hear people calling Esenyu, Esena, Sedinam, Seli, Sehonam, Sechuafia, Setonyu, Setowu, Sebuabe. All Ese. So Ese is the most celebrated God in the Trinity. So the Aves look at Ese as the main thing. Without the Ese, there is nothing that can happen in your life. If your Ese doesn't agree, nobody can kill you. So how will your Ese not agree before? How can your Ese be before you will not agree? Because you have to strengthen your Ese to the point that when people say they wanted to feed your Ese will tell them that no, I am full. I don't need food. So if they cannot feed the Ese, how can they attack the Ese? But if you don't know how to work your Ese and your Ese is weak and your Ese is hungry, if somebody wants to destroy you, they'll ask the Ese, oh, what will you eat? So that your Ese Joto, which is the human being, can live. You can leave the person and then the physical body will fall off. Then they say, oh, because I'm hungry, I'm not supposed to eat chicken, but give me chicken. And they give you chicken meat, and then your man who is me like me, then I didn't know, I'll go and eat chicken somewhere, and then I'll get sick and die. So without the Ese, without compromising the Ese, nothing can happen. So everything in your life is actually directed by your Ese. Even the parents that gave birth to you, it is your Ese who chose them for you. Thank you very much, Vikram. I'm very grateful. My regards to the family. Then we have Dr. Sean Thompson, Aboro, Aboye, Aboshishe, our Eve will say Bolu, Boya, Abokite. Thank you very much. And then can Ebo be made to correct this, to right one's wrong? Yes, sometimes Ebo can be made to correct your this, but there will be some punishment in such a way that the punishment will not be more than your physical body can handle. But it's not like writing it off. No. Punishments will come. Let's say, for instance, the thing that you have done and it's very bad, and someone is supposed to shoot you with gun, and then you die, and that is the payment for whatever you have done. I don't know, I'm just giving an example. So what may happen is that you may be, that is the point that you need to die for whatever wrong you have done. As karma may pay you according to your deeds. So if you do Ebo or do Vosa or what the white man call ritual, that, oh, I have realized that I have done things and I want to pay for my wrongdoings, but I don't want the punishment to destroy me, but I should be able to live and continue worshiping God. I should also continue to live to help humanity move forward. What may happen is that you may be going somewhere and you may have a car accident. And in that car accident, you are not going to die. Maybe you break a limb. The pain that you will be having, which you have already inflicted on people, would have come. You will be feeling pain. You broke a limb. So now you are not dead. Then slowly that heal. You are okay. Then one day you are going somewhere and somebody throws stone, hit your head, bah! You say, Ajay, and then you went to hospital and then you treated. So the punishment is coming in a way that it will not destroy you, but you are feeling the pain. That is what Ebo and ritual can do by trying to edit and also by reducing the impact of what would have happened and destroy you when rituals are done. Then the spirit world knows that you have recognized your own wrongdoing and you are trying to do something. So they will punish you, but the punishment will come in longer form than coming as one impact to destroy you. So Dr. Sean Thompson, that's what it is. Thank you very much for that question. Then we have my cousin and big brother for Martin Kobler. Agreed, even the Bible, which I also believe is a parody and a corruption of our ancient edicts, say that their father's sins shall be visited upon their children. That's very, very true. Thank you very much, F.O. Martin. I'm very grateful. Thank you very much. So I think we are having a very interesting conversation today. It's beginning to become interesting. As far as when ESSEC came into it, I think Van Perico, thank you very much for starting this conversation. It is very good that we are all learning from our own lives and our own experiences, so that tomorrow we will know what is the right thing to do and what not to do to create more of karma or sanskara, as they may call it in some what do you call it? As they may call it in Sanskrit, sanskara, that we will be able to avoid so many of them. Then we have there's a question up. Let me see. Okay, I think that one, like it, so that we know that it has been seen already. It's not going through?
It's light. It's just that I don't know.
It's what?
It's light. Just that there's an error on this page.
Okay. Okay, no problem. Okay, no problem. So we have Vampirico. It's a Papa. Is it true that as part of the Ebo of Vosa, the spirit may ask for dancing, drumming, and singing? Yes, in some shrines and temples, when a spirit mounts you, then maybe you may dance, you may drum, you may sing. But if the Vosa can be a dancing and drumming, I've not come across many of those yet. Maybe it is possible, but that you just dance and that is the Ebo and that's the Vosa for a particular ritual. You may dance during other things, and they may be doing some other things. They will ask you to dance. Like there's a black powder that when I prepare it, it was taught to me by one of my long time good spiritualists. Now we are no more that friendly as we used to be. But he taught me this, that it's a black powder that I use for very special and very serious illnesses that people cannot heal, but I do use it to heal. And that black powder, when you are preparing it, it gets to a point you have to sing a song and dance for the black powder before even putting it on the fire. And that's the key that makes it work. But just to say that you did something wrong and the spirit will request that you should dance and then drum and then sing, and that is to forgive you, I have not come across it that much. Maybe there is, but I haven't come across it yet. I haven't come across it yet. Like it and see what I do like. So how come that one is?
This one.
Okay, there's something wrong with that J. Bokiso. Okay?
He retracted.
Okay, he retracted it, so that's why. Okay. So we have a last thing here. Good afternoon, Papa. Please, why is it that some voodoo shrines have the images of Jesus and Mary? Okay, let me take that part. I don't know why some voodoo shrines have the image of Jesus and of Mary. You see, there is a problem that is going on. A lot of times, people want to equate Christianity, Islam, and other religions into equate them with our traditional spirituality, because a lot of people know that the church doesn't have any power, but people go to church more than going to the shrine. And even if they will go to the shrine, they go in secret, hiding, night. That alone is showing the inferiority complex of the black African person, who thinks that everything that comes from the European white man is better than what we have. And then there are shrines who are trying to make business by trying to get people who are Christians, who are going to church, to come to their shrine openly or in such a way. So they may put the image of Jesus and Mary there. So you will just take it that, okay, after all, it's Jesus and Mary image. And you forget, don't you know that that image of Jesus Christ and Mary were either made out of cement, clay, plastic, wood carving, whatsoever. That so long as it's in the form of European, then it is okay. People can approach it. If it is in form of our katakrai, like our African face, and then it is too bad. It is evil. But if because I've even seen our president, current president, trying to kiss the image of Mary. Yes, trying to kiss the image of Mary Magdalene, Mary Jesus of Mother Jesus, Mary Mother of Jesus. That's how Catholic people say, Mary Jesus, Mother of Jesus Christ. And it is okay. Everybody accepts it. Means he has done a very great job. But if our president had gone to kiss the image of any of our traditional shrine, or image in any of our traditional shrine, I tell you, hell will break loose on him in this country. And everybody would have condemned him, would have called him names, and maybe he wouldn't have been a president by now. So people putting images of Jesus Christ and white people and Mary and all kind of Indian images, it's just, even the India one is still fearful, but then the European one is fine. And people would go to that shrine without worrying, because after all, it's Jesus Christ is there. It is Mary that is there. They have forgotten that it is the same wood that was used to carve our traditional voodoo. Is the same wood that was used in carving that Jesus Christ and Mary. So some people may do it just because they want to have this thing. I have a cross in my house. There's a cross somewhere. Jesus Christ cross is somewhere with Jesus hanging on it, whether it's here or it's in the shrine there. The reason I have it in my altar is just because I want to identify and pay homage that there was this person called Jesus, whether it is real or it is not real. But because I was brought up with that there is a group of people or a section of people in the world believe that there was a man called Jesus Christ, and he was a great teacher, telling people to do unto others as they have done, they would want them to do unto themselves. So it is a point of paying homage to great teachers. Just like how I have the image of Lord Shiva in my room, and I also have image of my godfather, Tobe Tuji, my teacher also. So it is with me that I pay respect and homage to people who had taught me, or people who I learned some knowledge from. But putting Jesus Christ in front of my shrine and putting a banner with Jesus Christ and Mary, I don't think I will do it in this life. Maybe in another lifetime, but not now. Because I may become a hypocrite. I'm teaching about our tradition. Why should I put Jesus Christ there to tell people that I am following Jesus Christ, then I might as well go to church. This place is not a church, it's a shrine. And so now this person is going to call that doll or image or whatever master. And since he or she is not going to go and attack the master physically, he'll call the master and then use a pin to pinch the knee point of the master. And then the master will be feeling pain, and tomorrow he will not be able to wake up to come out to go and be beating anybody. And these things were real. They are still real today. That is what I am saying, that voodoo is having the secret of nature in your palms. You can create and you can destroy. And because you can create and destroy, the slave masters declared this action or this way of connecting to nature and the divine evil, because they couldn't understand, because physically the person is not near you. Yet still it can make you do things that you didn't want to do. It can make you feel things that you don't know why you are feeling. Someone can put you on fire here and you'll be far away feeling heat in your body all through, and you can take all the fever medicines in the world, but until this fire stops burning here, you will never feel cold. That's how much voodoo is. And this knowledge is still here in the hands of people. So the Hollywood and all this thing, they've only seen the negative aspect of it. That's why they were saying that it is evil. Because of course, beating someone mercilessly and maltreating them was also evil. But they didn't see it that way. They only saw the invisible actions of our ancestors in action and called them evil. Because a good voodoo priest does not need to go anywhere. He can do everything at home and everything will happen. And you can even see it in the sacrifices we do when we do a reading for somebody. And they say it is witchcraft or this and that. The person is looking for a job or is having a situation, is in prison or whatever. There are things we can do here. And that person will go to court and the judge will say, no, he is innocent, he should go. Or the person is looking for a job and he has been to many interviews, and then they will still call that person to come back and work. We don't need to go there physically. We can do everything from across the ocean and it will still take effect. That is how powerful voodoo is. That's why in the olden days, they don't teach children these techniques. And also, they do not teach people who do not have patience. If you are a person who doesn't have a patience and you are always fighting and angry, our ancestors will not teach you anything. Because they know that in your hand, the community will be in trouble. And they won't teach you. That's why sometimes you will see them teaching only maybe the last child, or one of the child that is more weakly, that is very quiet and patient and reasonable, because they believe in the hands of such, the community can continue to survive and grow. But not someone who is proud, who is easily to anger and wants to destroy. But with that in your hand, you can easily destroy. Just like the gun. If a child holds a gun, it will shoot you finish before it will realize that it was bad. So this is what voodoo is. And it is still real. It is not like a joke. That's why when such people like this guy taking our content and putting it on his Facebook, deceiving people, and putting it on Instagram and YouTube, deceiving people as if he has power. He has no power. If he has power, he would have been showing his own work, not the work of other people. I don't know how many different forms of magic are there, Anthony, but I know that we have spiritual magic and we also have entertainment magic. These two I know. The spiritual magic can vary from different things, from voodoo to whatever you may call it. And the entertainment magic is more illusion and tricks. So, in my understanding of magic, there are two forms of magic. Maybe there are many, and one is spiritual magic, and then the other is entertainment magic. Thank you, Anthony X. Who is mentally against you? Anyone who doesn't want to see you progress, anyone who is against your development, anyone who, when they see you moving forward, are not happy. Such people are called witches in my definition. It's also a Yoruba word which means a sack or a pocket. A sack, akpo, which the Avis also call it akpo, just like how the Yorubas also call it akpo, sack or pocket. What it is, the akpo is, we have different spiritual ones, apart from the normal empty pocket and empty sacks. And the one we call akpo is actually, it's also a herbal combination of different things. And inside this voodoo, it has so many things in nature that is directly related, that has words that can command and control nature when they are uttered. They bring changes into this thing, and it's a very high spiritual key in voodoo, and they are not given to children, actually. Unless, of course, you know your children, then you know whether to give them or not to give them. But there it is for protection, for healing, and also to control situations that are not easily controllable. Thank you very much, Bolaji. A situation where you had no choice but to eat that food in order to survive. If you are stupid, you will say, oh, because I am not supposed to eat it, my voodoo or my etro or my deity or my spirit say I shouldn't eat this. So even if you were dying, you say you won't eat it. But one thing you should remember, that dead people do not worship God. So if you should eat certain food and that food will kill you, or if you should eat that food and survive so that another day you can worship God, I will advise that even though that food is not a food you should eat it. And when you eat that food, you will be alive. And before you go to your voodoo, because the voodoo had told you not to eat that food, but you need to be alive before you could go to that voodoo. After eating the food, there are certain herbs that you will bath, then you cleanse yourself. So when you go to the voodoo will not say anything that, oh, you have gone against its rules. So for you to know, that's one aspect. There are certain things you will do which you are not supposed to do, but you did. And there are herbs that you will use to cleanse yourself if you want to approach your voodoo. So there are so many different types of cleansing herbs. Somebody is getting crazy. There are certain herbs that you bath the person, that the person's vibration and wavelength and everything will change, and the person will calm down. So when you talk about cleansing herbs, it is knowing what herb to use for cleansing what you want to clean. So generally, you want to know how to prepare a spiritual bath. You need to know the herbs. But the common one in every land is what we call Avena. I think Avena has an English name and a botanical name, but unfortunately Senna is not here. Otherwise he would have provided, but I'm sure when you write it in a chat, he will be able to tell you people the botanical name that you can find it. That herb called Avena is the common and a base herb for many spiritual cleansing. People call it Amaga. People call it Potima. It has so many different names. That is the most common one that people use for many cleansing. They may add other herbs to it for different purposes, but the base is always the Avena, Potima, Amaga. They will use that to do so many things. So, Lustig, I think that is the basic one that you can use. And then later you can learn and add other ones to it while you continue learning. Or if you yourself, you know any other, you can. But for cleansing, I would say the basic and the base, which you don't need any priest or anyone to do anything. Get those herbs, mash them in the water. While mashing them, make affirmations, things you want to happen, things you want to change, you mash them to come out of the water. Things that you don't want to happen to you, you mash them that they stay inside the water and they never come out again before bathing. So this is what is about cleansing. Remove that when you see that in cover, I can't see. And by the way, this Ghana web video you just heard was the first time I heard of you, and I have been glad since. I'm really touched about the fact that you are well endowed in our spirituality and also well educated. Move this in. We are enormously grateful, Papa. I'll come and feed my essay one day. I think he's been depressed. Thank you very much, Lustig. I'm very grateful. Thank you for the question and the things we have all discussed, the comments and everything for today. I'm very grateful. My doors are always open for everyone who is ready to learn. Thank you very much. Herbs are also entities. They also have their intelligences, and they have the divinities behind them. Earlier, I was reading on Facebook about our brother Timilei, John Jimo Aderemi, said that he was driving and then he saw these shrubs cross the road and he wanted to cut them. So when he got down to cut them, he just heard in his head that, please don't cut us. So at first he thought he was just hallucinating. And then again he wanted to cut, and then the herbs again louder that please don't cut us. So he was able to push them aside and he passed or something like that. And then the herbs were saying thank you. You see, our perception of the universe or the world we live in is still very little. We don't understand the world that we are living in, even though we have been here for thousands of years. We don't really understand the world. And most of the time, we think that we human beings are the only things or beings or entities that have right to live here. So human being is always trying to destroy other things, and then it's getting closer to us that we have now realized that by destroying the world, we are destroying ourselves. This global warming and all kind of things that are happening is because man has destroyed a lot of forests and trees and other things, and now it's coming closer to us, and we are beginning to understand that by destroying the world or destroying nature, we are destroying ourselves. And now big monies are being put into it to stop global warming. And this conference here, that conference there, people talking here and there. For only one reason, we did not respect nature. We did not respect nature, and we didn't see anything that was here with us as part of us. That's why I always say voodoo, as in our culture, is to live in harmony with nature. Learning how to live in harmony with nature. So herbs have consciousness. When you look at the this movie, the Avatar, I don't know whether that's the first one or the second one. The Avatar movie, where the ants and plants and all these things were in the what would they say, in another dimension, and then American soldiers coming to destroy and all kind of things. So those of you who haven't seen that movie, I think you should go back and see it. It's also talking about uh, uh, how you can go into another dimension and be able to meet, like what this Meta is doing. That film called Meta, is it Meta? It's a movie where somebody goes into this and their spirit will now interact with other people's spirit, not on the physical plane, but on another level. And they learn some information or lessons from there, they bring it back to physical plane. So nature is beautiful, and every single entity on this planet that we are has got a purpose and a reason for being here. We cannot really understand them, that's why we destroy them. But also, they are also made in such a way that they don't react physically to you, but okay. Good afternoon, good morning, and good evening to all of you, wherever you are. The people on Facebook, Clubhouse, YouTube, and also on Zoom. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. And we're going to be having a very interesting discussion. So please prepare your questions and everything. I am your host, Christopher Voncujovi, or Bokor Christopher Voncujovi. And we are about to take off now. We'll be actually talking for about 2.5 to 3 hours today. So please bring your questions so that I can try to answer them for you if possible. Thank you very much. Let me pour libation and then we can continue from there. Oh, Mauga Sobolisa, Ago, Mauga Kiki Kata, Ago, Mauga Esse Joto, Amejoto, Esse Enanu, Esse Tenanu, Omana Pebi, Okona Pebi, Omana Vivian and Okona Pebi, Beno, Vivian and Omana, saying Yom. They may also to Polipo, say that Afia, say Gona Amegan, say Georgia Amejo. Yora Kakakim and Dwago. Mayosha may have for us over semi for us over Tea Dwago. You are Braxis and Braxis and Braxis. Braxis and Braxis and Braxis and Braxis and Yara, the good dog, your time, the other than the poor. Who will be so on, best on the Camera Dwago. We may all have a year and years of Kakachi Califasha. Yala Fabia, do the Hono Mayora Kakakin. When you're in Bama, for playing Bama Dwadi Colony, you might Lamine, please arrange with somebody who put that goat in a leash. Is making noise. Oh my God, kind but you kind when you're kind of what kind of what kind of what kind of you kind of you kind of you are talking about kind very bad. Remember, I don't work with the manager future or something. Remember, you have to walk about the walk up walk when you know Zango. Then people are going to be at home, but say you're a few job part time job. I put a fucking boy money to go to do with the people who perform it over no. So when you try a moment, you try and quite a problem. You need a film to talk about the two of them. Woman to put a cut of Patabe at the age of one budget. Need your Patavefia. Jopata, the trauma went down Molo, the family reading at Jopata. Then I think Jopata, Jopata, I have to film your Messman board, you to talk with anything about where it is Bolu Ajima, or Bojuko or Jalapon comment. Valentina Famelo, Valo, Joe, Nakpofu. I go Sapate mayo. I think a mayo, who would do a la fia. The mayo, my guys, said, this is a topic. Double. If the smoke is too much for you, take it outside. May you talk with me, may you say, Brahini, watching, but fully go, come and table. Which of my commander, Tabayon, Madame Yora, Kuto Manefana, and I go born in the family. You're talking because who are put here, and I cause our people for passing their most if you see them cause our black Brahman and Bobby, but when I could be a man's side, but Pecuno. Eyo ni abete kuto me nefa na me bo na bo nefa na wo. Afonye Celestine ya wa akubia Catherine akubia fonya se kwa fonya ya oben akubia. Kuto me nefa na me bo na bo nefa na me pe ni mo si. Me ya wo tuji ba ko tuji to me tuji me yo kini na se ko ja. So ba na me yo. Aprazo me yo ra ko kuto me nefa na se. Na na me bo nefa na me. Me yo ko ada fi so fa mo abori ba ko afacha wa jo. Kuto me nefa na yọ hùn ọhún lẹ bá pọ hùn ọhún lẹ ẹgbẹ àgbẹgà tó bẹ máa ṣe kútó mi ní fẹnẹ mi o èyí mi yọ tọgbẹ yẹn nání tìrẹtù lẹ jìtá tọgbẹ abraham jùbẹ nù lẹ tchàmẹ tọbọkọ kútó mi ní fẹnẹ gbogbogbò rẹ gbogbo ní fẹnẹ ní ẹtẹ mi nọ sí èyí mi yọ tọgbẹ fiatọ sí nọ nkabi lẹ abẹnyina sí agọtìmẹ yọrọ kẹkẹkẹkẹ yọ agọtìmẹ nù agọtìmẹ vi pété mi tó nà kọ yọrọ gbẹbi dàgbà sí dàgbà dìmẹ yọ ní bolo. Io Nimal Pamare, Daniel Pamare, Agbado, the Cook Nigeria, Kuto Refana in Bobore and Babun Refana, Humugake, they Yabuchi Sakra Cavacho, they are Dobu Kutokuri, Kuma, Tobero, Frantamani, Sinka, Kofito Jabaku, which of two coffee and coffee, and Cable. Yo afana bono afan bo maji so because people to so let that part with me kwali do me to me so no me abla me akala me buda me sam kama ji tu me tu la me ji da me ji me fu me ko che tu la mo le ba gire ko pa ta ba ro to ba me ko ko ni yo to ya ko so ko che yo mi o ke ke dagbe ji me yo mi o buga ke le to me ro me me ge bi ya ko ka ko ni to me no bu su na bu people na to na matan do ben agbe mo ko bia mi agbe ni dia se sinedi na ba na se se kwa do ni dia ni la do ago un buga ke ile mi aba un ku mi le mi aba si ni ba na yeah, so here we are. We will start first by reading the greetings from Facebook. I have a big sister Ifadara saying grand blessings, Papa and family, and that's long about an hour ago, almost an hour ago. Okay, thank you very much, big sister. We're very grateful. I wish you very well. Hope you are fine. Then we have Afi Daras and Grand Rising Toby and team. Thank you very much, big sister Afi. Okay, me for I have Kate Collins. Good morning, Bokor. Hello. Kay, how are you? Thank you very much for joining us. I think, and then we have Ifa Kenny Aisha Maskenet Ame saying Grand Rising Alafia, blessing to Baba and everyone there. Same to you, Ifa Kenny Alafia, and thank you very much. We have Chukuma Uche Okay saying hi. Uche, Uche, okay, yeah. Saying hi. Thank you very much, Chukuma. How are you? Thank you very much for joining the section. And then Chukuma again, I think he was trying to send something, but it didn't come. And then we have Vivian Baka saying greetings, Papa and AMT family. Thank you very much, Vivian. Hope you are fine. Look at me for the please, Papa, talk more about how you invoked Togbe Jopata physically, and he came with two of his servants kneeling at his feet, and he had red hair. Okay, it's not two of his servants, so Jopata comes with seven servants, usually. Thank you. I'll talk about it later when I do all the greetings, and then we can continue. And then Senator Voncujovi is saying the name is Boundary Tree, which is the Avena. It's called Boundary Tree. And then the scientific name is New Boulder Livis, is the scientific name. Okay, thank you, Sena. Or somebody, you are playing some of the old things that I said, right? Maybe that's why. Can you boulders Livis? This is what I cannot remember too much, but then okay, put a Wikipedia page here showing what Nibolia level is. Okay, thank you very much, Senna. That is Avenya. And then we have Joseph Tavia. Please, do you believe in the Bible? No, I don't believe in the Bible. I don't believe in anything. I don't believe in anything. I don't believe in Bible. I don't believe in Quran. I don't believe in anything. I know that God exists, and I follow God through practicality. I'm not doing any belief system here. Don't believe in anything. And then we have Collins NC says, please, what is the meaning of someone dreaming all the time, walking in the bush and damp places and also in the slum? I'm not very sure, Collins. I don't know what it means. Cannot say. And then I think that's the last one. No, we have Ashi Nyanyui escapes a good afternoon, Daddy. Please, if the gods open your eyes and ears, can that be seen as hallucination by the people around you when maybe you yourself wasn't aware that it was your eyes and ears that was open? So you tell people what you saw. That God continue to bless you. Okay, see, when your eyes and ears are open, you will know. It is not like you cannot know. If you don't know that your eyes and ears are open, then you are crazy. When your eyes and ears are open, you will know. It's not madness. It's not hallucination. You yourself, you will be aware. And whether people believe you or people do not believe what you say, when you say things and they begin to happen, then people know that you can see, and people know that you can hear. So people cannot call you hallucination. But if you are behaving like a mad person and saying things and nothing is happening and you are just talking and running around without proving anything to anybody, yes, of course, people can consider that you are hallucinating or you are mad. But when your eyes and ears are open, you will know. And people around you, just like how your pastors will say, "Oh, I see something around you," you call them, they are hallucinating. They are not hallucinating. If they are real, some are just trick idiots, but some could be real. Thank you very much. Okay, so we go on to YouTube where we saw Mario in India. It's a good evening, Daddy, and the AMT family. Greetings from India. Thank you very much, Mario. Thank you very much for joining. A lot of you joined earlier, almost an hour ago, but we are just starting. So thank you for coming in so early. Said, change the color of this place, otherwise I can't read well. The color is too white. I don't know how. you can manage so that you can get darker. The background should be dark so that like this, if it is like this, it's better because it's white background. But then with this background, I can read. Thank you very much. So now I think we are done with YouTube, and we are done with what do you call it, Facebook. Now, if anybody on Clubhouse wanted to say anything, please, you can. And my regards to all of you. Thank you all for joining the program. All people on the Clubhouse. Thank you very much. And
good morning, Tanya, or good afternoon.
Good morning, good afternoon. Am I speaking to Tonya?
Yes, it's fine.
Welcome. Thank you very much. Welcome to the program. Thank you very much for joining. And how are you today?
I am wonderful. Oh, like, it's funny because we had a big storm over here. We had tornadoes. And I started prayer before it happened. And my house did not get touched. Okay. And when I look at it, I'm like, I had little starter planter cups. I had so many things that could have blown away, and nothing happened. But the houses next to me all have trees blown down, their barbecues are missing, people's kids' trampolines are on, and I'm just like,
yeah, when the
ancestors, people have to have a different understanding of connecting with spirit.
When you are connected to nature, you absolutely will be protected.
Like connected God?
Nature. When you are connected to nature, you will be protected. So sometimes you yourself, you will not understand how things happen the way they do happen, but then there must be some force or energy looking after you. Can Tonya still help me, hear me? I think she's off.
I can hear you. It's kind of chipping in and out a bit.
Yes, yeah, from your side too. From your side too, it was not very clear. But I was saying that when you are connected to nature, a lot of things happen in your life, and you yourself you will not understand. And definitely there must be some energy that is looking after you, whether you know it or you don't know it. There must be some energy that is guiding and looking after you. Is our network correct? Are we having everything okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's go to the question of Vivian Baka about the Jopata manifestation. Okay, Vivian Baka was saying, please, Papa, talk about how you invoked Tobe Jopata physically, and he came with two of his servants kneeling at his feet, and he had a red hair. Okay, Vivian, see, invocation. I don't want to use this personal invocations of deities and spirits to attract people to my shrine. That's one thing. Those stories were stories I told my children, and then maybe because I am training them to understand and have confidence in this entity called Jopata, which is just a representation in our shrine, and I was to tell them the experiences that I had had with Jopata over the years. So I don't want to use these invocations and some personal details that I had with Jopata as a public thing. I think Sena is the one who is trying to put these things up or on and off about these things. But those are not the key things that I wanted people to know about the deities that I would meet. But since you asked the question, uh, I will try to answer it. Um, Jopata is an entity, it's a spirit, or it's a god, or it's a deity. Call it whatever you want. And Jopata had been with me for some time now, before I gave birth to some of my children. And from time to time, in the past, I used to invoke all the spirits that are with me. I invoke a tiny, I invoke a small boy danger, Obubu Yaya, Tabwe Jopata, and many other spirits. I try to invoke them by using the method of the Kabbalah, the Hebrew Kabbalah. There's a method in Hebrew Kabbalah which is used in invoking or bringing the presence of an entity that is an invisible entity, but you can bring it closer to you. It can appear in the form of a human being, and you can communicate, and it can teach you, and you take notes, and then you can work with it. So that was one of the occasions that I came to Ghana, and that was back in 1998, 1999, when I invoked it in Ghana. But I used to invoke it when I was in Japan as well. It's not only here. So when Jopata, when he came, or anytime he comes actually with his servants, about seven servants who will be kneeling in front of him. He is looking more like an Indian. That's the skin color that came with, looking more like an Indian, but the hair is a red hair, and he was holding a staff in his hand. He was also trying to tell me what I should do and guide me. So I took notes. So that was how it was. But I don't want to use these ones to attract people to my shrine. That is not the purpose of my shrine. And it's not everybody that can invoke a spirit. Some people can do. But then, of course, because I am training my children to be at my place when I am not here, so I am training them with everything that I had known or had learned, so that in case one day my physical body is not here, they can do the things that I had done and then keep the relationship between themselves and the spirit world. So I'm teaching them, but then it's not like I am teaching everybody how to invoke spirits. But then, of course, if I find someone who is qualified, I can also teach that person to invoke. Because spirit invocation is a little bit dangerous. Dangerous in the sense that if you don't know the spirit very well and you invoke it, you may end up harming yourself. And sometimes you also need to know how to dismiss the spirit into the spirit world, so that it does not follow you everywhere and create problems in your life. With all respect, you need to really respect the spirit world, and you don't take it like a joke. And I have been doing this thing all my life. It's not now that I become a Bokor or doing African traditional spirituality. I've been doing this long before I even entered into African traditional spirituality. So it's been something, been a part of my life all since childhood. So I am kind of, I kind of know it better. That's not what I sell out. I'm not trying to promote spirit invocation because it's a dangerous field. It's only the people who have gotten a very good teacher who can give you a direction. It's not something you can just be doing on your own because it can cause you problems. So, Vivian, maybe one day when we meet physically, we can talk about spirit invocation in general, and maybe we can talk about Togwe Jopata. So Jopata is there. That's why we trust him, because we know he exists. And when he tells us things and we follow, we see results. So that's why we know that there is an energy that we can count on. And of course, those of you who are initiated into Jopata, don't be afraid. Just mention his name in times of need and see whether he will be there or he will not be there. Thank you very much, William, for that question. Are there more? Okay, there's some. Is that a new question? Okay, we have a Hades Yugi again here. Can the methods of meditation and concentration used in Buddhism and Hinduism help fast track magic and manifestation? What's your experience with Hinduism? How it benefited you as a Hindu priest? Okay. I don't know whether the methods in Hinduism, because I kept telling people that Africans don't do meditation. And a lot of people are confused and don't even know what spirituality. Meditation is for maybe Christians and for Asians, Hindus, and Buddhists, and others. But the African traditional spirituality is not based on meditation whatsoever. That's why when I see people drawing some of the deities in Ifa and then putting chakra or energy points and trying to say that this is, I don't understand where they are picking that one from. Our people did not have anything called chakra in in our tradition. There's nothing like chakra. Chakra means circle of energy or energy point, and it is not in our African traditional spirituality. So those people who are mixing up Hinduism and Buddhism and Asian religions and this with our African traditional spirituality, I guess making a very big mistake and a big blunder and then misleading people. Yes, I practiced meditation before. I practiced Hinduism and some Buddhism before finally deciding to come back into African traditional spirituality. In African traditional spirituality, we don't have what they call ahimsa. Ahimsa. I don't know how many of you understood that word. It's a Sanskrit word. Ahimsa means non-violent. We don't practice vegetarianism in our African traditional spirituality. But a whole lot of people thought that when they don't eat meat, that is making them spiritual. It's a lie. It is not true. That is just imagination. It is not true. Spirituality is a practical thing. It's not stop eating meat does not make you spiritual in any way. Maybe health-wise, it may help you if your body doesn't like meat. That's why, but they don't think that because you don't eat meat, you are spiritual. You are not. Spirituality is a practical thing that you can use to bring changes in nature. So sitting down in meditation and you are only dreaming and imagining things until after some time you wake up without getting any power that you can make any changes in nature does not make you spiritual. But then, of course, that is the way Hinduism and Buddhism. But in our African traditional spirituality, everything is manifestations of real things, using nature in its pure form to bring changes. That's what our traditional spirituality is. How Hinduism helped me, benefited me in voodoo, being a voodoo priest is I would just say it's because I have learned so many things, so it gives me that patience to be able to wait and see things manifest so that I can practically see them. Because you know, meditation, as far as Hinduism is, it's more of just sitting down and closing your eyes and repeating a mantra. For how long, only God knows. And then later stories will follow from your teachers or from some other people that in the past this thing was like this. But then present, why aren't you people able to do it as a practical to show us that if somebody can levitate in the past and you are teaching levitation or you are teaching about meditation, and in that meditation they speak about so many things. So if using Hinduism or Buddhism and people could levitate, why today people are following the same path and no one is levitating? But in Africa, traditional spirituality, or in Voodoo, which is the Ewe word for spiritual practice, when your grandfather told you that a long time ago, people can stop rain, or people can ask animals to behave in certain way, or when you do certain things, certain changes happen in nature. Long time ago, these things were happening. Today, those things can still happen before your eyes. It is not going to be a story form whereby people will just tell story and then people begin to live the story as if they were present when such things were happening. And then it will spread from one person to another, but no one can practically demonstrate whatever story they are telling you. So in learning of meditation, I learned to be patient. Yeah, that's what I can say. I really learned to be patient because at the end of the day, you just have to be patient because there's nothing going to happen anyway. You just have to sit down, meditate for 3, 4 hours, 5 hours, and wake up with your knees and feet getting numb. Yeah, that's it. African traditional spirituality, especially Vodou, which is the word for spiritual practice or spirit of the Aves, you don't need to suffer your body undergo stress before achieving results. Once the teacher knows the route or knows the path and teaches you, then of course automatically you will be able to get to what they told you. If they tell you that when you do put A and 1 and 2 together, you will get 3. Definitely, if you put the 1 and the 2 together in Voodoo practice, you will definitely get 3. You don't need to be imagining that it's going to become 3. And then you continue imagining until it never exists, and they tell you that, maybe it is not the time. No. Voodoo is very practical. So people who practice Buddhism, Buddhism, Hinduism, may have their own stories, but I have practiced that before and also practicing Voodoo, so I can see the difference in the practicality of Voodoo than any other spirituality that I have practiced before. Because if they say it will happen, it will happen. Because they say people can see, they have third eye. That's one of the main things that a lot of people who want to do meditation to be able to see, to be able to have clairvoyance ability. But how many people practicing Buddhism or Hinduism clairvoyant ability? People will just be imagining that, oh, I think I am feeling something. I think I am doing this. I think this thing is happening to me. You don't need to think. You need to feel it, and then it will be real. It's not like I think it is this thing happening to me. And even if it is just an ordinary dream, people begin to think that they are priests or priestesses or whatever. No. In Voodoo, everything is very practical. If you are a priest, you have to be a priest. And you have to go undergo training. It is not from imagination that priesthood came. It is through training. that you can become a priest. You cannot just be a priest just because you imagine that you were born a priest and then you become a priest. Unlike in Hinduism and other people who are Western people practicing Buddhism and Hinduism, everybody is imagining things which are not really practical on physical plane. So that's, I learned that patient that you need to wait for things to happen. But then the patients sometimes never, the things they told you never really get manifested. Like those people practicing a canker. Or, yeah, they tell you that you see the light, you hear the sound, and you feel the nectar. But how many people really have seen the light? And how many people really have heard the sound of Om or had felt the nectar? None. Most of them are just deceiving themselves and also try to just to prove to you that, oh, I can see but you cannot see. It is not. If in Voodoo, if you can see, you can see, you can tell, and everybody around you can tell that you are seeing. So Hades Yogi, that's my stand, and that's what I have benefited. I benefited from having patience. But then when I got into Voodoo, that patience has given me more energy in the sense that they tell you that this thing you need to take some time before you can see the physical realization. And then I have the patience to wait. That's why I am able to get ahead of many people. Not because I am special in any way, but I have that patience. Even in my general life, in marriage, in raising children, and everything, I have gotten that patience to wait and continue to follow the same thing until it gets to the bottom. So I would say the meditation in general had just helped me to have patience. And that patience finally has paid off in for me. Thank you very much, Eugene, Hades Eugene, for that question. Yes, let's go. Okay, then Vivian Bakai says, sorry, Papa, don't be angry. I just want to know more. That's why I'm asking. I'm not angry, Vivian. I am not angry at all. I'm not angry. You know, you are young people, and I believe very strongly my son, Senator, is young people. So those are the stories that make people feel very happy that, oh, there's something happening and these things are practical. So it's okay. I'm not angry or whatsoever. But generally, I don't want to use uh, these spiritual experiences to attract people. I talk generally about spirits, and I give you the assurance that they are there, but I don't need to bring the physical experiences that I've had with them, unless, of course, when it becomes necessary. And during my teachings, they say I can talk about it, then I do. That's why I say so. I wasn't angry at all. Anyway, thank you very much for that question. And then we have Ashui Nyanui Escape. Say good afternoon, Daddy. Please, in if the gods open, I think we have read that one already. It said the same. If the gods open your eyes, and can they be seen as hallucination? Yeah, that's why I'm saying it can be seen as a hallucination if what you are saying is not practical. Because if you say, hey, look at that bird flying, and everybody is looking around and there's no bird flying, then it is looked as a hallucination. It's only you seeing it. Because when you can see, the things you can see when you talk, it becomes practical for other people to see too. It's not only you who can see and they cannot see. If they cannot see and you can see, then when you say it, after some time that thing must materialize. And that will show that really what you said has come true. But when you say things and you see things and whatever you said never materializes for other people to see, yes, of course they will look at you as if you are hallucinating, and maybe you were hallucinating, because if you can hear things and you can see things, that thing should also, after some time, be very practical to other people to see or for them to realize. Yeah, that's how I say. So, Nyanyui, That is my take on your question. So Hades Yugen says, okay, how can we then control and interact with deities if we cannot control, liberate our own minds? What do you want to control deities for? You don't need to control deities. You can interact with them. But if you can interact with them. What about our ancestors who didn't do any meditation and yet still were in charge of so many deities? They didn't even go to India. They did not know anything about meditation. But they were able to take care of many, many great deities that have been written down, and a lot of people are coming to interact with those deities today. Were they doing visualization? No, they did not do mental visualization of anything. When a deity is real, you don't need to make a mental visualization. It is real. If it is real, it is real. It's very practical. And if you ask or give it a task and it is able to accomplish the task for you, then you know it's real. It is not a mental visualization or mental exercise or whatever. Uh, no, you don't need any mental exercises or visualization as a prerequisite to dealing with deities. No, 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 no. You need to read about the deity you want to deal with. Know its do's and don'ts, the time and the hour that that deity works or at its highest during the day. Then you find what can control the deity or to make the deity to listen to you, as in the forms of diagrams and figures that you can put together that will make the deity to know that you are calling or somebody is calling. You must also know the sigil and the signature of the deity that you want to call. Having all those, what would I call it, weapons in your hand, when you put them together, the deity will understand. Because you also need to know the name of the deity, and you have to know the incantation that can use to call it. So it is not a mental visualization or uh, uh, mental exercises of whatsoever to be able to see them. No, 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 no. You don't need that. Once it is properly set, the thing will appear. These are things that I have personally done. I've not done any mental visualization before these things. When it is just like when recently my son Senna, Seiram, and Lamin, I gave them a deity which was a dwarf. I was not there. I just told them what is usually done, and I have initiated them into the deity. So when they went into their room, they went and invoked the deity, and the deity came, or the dwarf came, told them the time they should be calling him, gave them the actual time, and told them what we can do for them, and the kind of tax it should be given. So when next time the time he gave them and they invoked him at that same time, it came and started teaching them. So they took a notebook and they started writing things down. So when the key is correct, the door is always open. You don't need to struggle to open a door if you have the correct key. Thank you very much, ADC. Say, I only ask because the first law of Tehuti is that all is mind and the universe is mental. Yes, I can believe that all is mind and everything is the universe is mental. Even though the universe may be mental, the universe is at the same time physical. And I had always said that the plants in the world is what make God, or what the plants are God. And in Ewe we say Amaini means God is the the universe. God is the expression of the world. Whatever you see in the world is the total combination of that is what is God. So even if in Tehuti it is said that all is mind, then of course their technique of doing whatever they use the mind to do to manifest things may be different from the way the Voodoo priest use his mind to manifest things. For us, we know the secret of the herbs and plants kingdom through which our ancestors have contacted the divine being, if there is any, or were able to deal with the universe or deal with the world in which they lived. And these rules and regulations and techniques have been laid down from generations to generation. So whenever we go back to those same techniques and we put them together, what our ancestors had experienced before writing those things still comes to pass. It is not like, oh, it was only done in the past, so today it cannot be done. Take for instance, you come to a voodoo priest, and so this is knife. You use it and cut something. Then you yourself you use a knife to cut something, and you cut, and you know that the knife is sharp. And the voodoo priest gave you some initiation that okay, swallow this seeds or herb, and after you swallow, he now whispers the name of the spirit that can control that knife not to cut you, and that the spirit that he has given to you is that spirit. So anytime you want to demonstrate that knife cannot cut, repeat the name of the spirit, and then after that you can use the knife to be cutting yourself in front of people, yet still it won't cut. And even sometimes you can even give it to people to use to cut you, it will not cut. You know, this one you don't need any mental visualization or whatever, a mental exercise. It is the formula that you need. And once the formula is right, the result has to be right. Unless, of course, there's something wrong with the formula, then you don't get proper answers. So you don't need any mental visualization of whatsoever in this sense. And this is what voodoo is. And that's why a lot of people fear it because they cannot understand how it's working. So they can only liken it to say, oh, it must be coming from the devil. What is devil? Does the devil really exist? Yes, there may be spirits that are negative and spirits that are positive. But then to talk about devil as an entity, maybe just human creation anyway. But there is no bigger devil than a human being. Okay, so hallucinogen, that's what voodoo is. There's a big difference until you start practicing the real thing. You can only hear it as a story. Then we have a tree. Again, Nani saying thanks, Daddy. Thank you to Nani. Thank you very much for the question. And then Hayden's Yugen said, what if everything is set right and deity does not appear? How do you diagnose that? When you get there, you will find out. Because I don't know. If everything is set and the deity doesn't appear, then there must be something that is wrong. But the people who have been invoking, they will know what is wrong. And they will tell you why the deity didn't come. But in most cases, before you even invoke a deity, there are things that you will do in order to let the deity know that you are going to invoke. That's why I said that the deity will give you time that it is highest or that it is working or it is at its highest manifestation and give you the times and the method to use to call him or her to appear. So if the deity itself has given you all these details and you call it and it does not appear, then there must be something wrong with you or your process. Okay, we have Vivian Bakar against Papa. An Indian lady at my workplace touched my bangle and asked where it came from. It scares me. No, just tell her it's from your grandfather in Africa. Simple as that. You don't need any problem. Because the bangle or the bracelet has energy, and people who are spiritual, when they come in contact of it, whether the person having negative or positive spirituality, when they come in contact with the bracelet on your wrist, they can feel the energy. So definitely, the people will ask you from time to time, where do you get this one from? Because it is not just ordinary; it has an energy following you or behind it. So that's what will happen. Thank you very much, Olivia. Yeah. So are we done with the Facebook? I think we are done with Facebook, and we are going back to YouTube. And nobody is on Zoom as at the moment, right? Nobody yet. One person. Heather. Okay, there's a Heather on the Zoom, so maybe if they wanted to. Hello, how are you? Are they speaking English? I think he's talking in the background. Ah, okay. Okay, we are on Zoom, and we have a big sister, Afid Daraz. Sorry about that. We are working on improving the connection. Please let us. You wrote that. Okay, what was the reason before? Okay, you say sorry about that. I don't know. What did the person say before you said that you were? Okay, that's Afidara, big sister. Afidara. Thank you very much, Team AMT. Glad to have tuned in successfully even though the connection is quite shaky. Okay, okay. So is it okay now? So, okay, the person who was talking was actually not talking yet. Okay, no problem. So let's go to okay, there's a Herbert to everyone. Good morning, Bokor. A few class ago, you mentioned four herbs: dandelion, garlic, avenia, and siosio. Okay, that siosio is, we call it dame dame. Some people call it afideme, and some people call it a hagbe. Uh, I don't know the English name for siu. Maybe we need to ask Senna, or we have to use the plant net to find it and probably get the name. So I have never done that one before, so I cannot say what is the English name for siu. Sometimes people call it St. Michael's hair, but that I don't think that is its real English name. I will find it and then share with you people at another time. Thank you very much, Heather. Mhm. Okay, the English name for siu is broomweed. Okay, that's why we call it a hagbe. Whether it is broomweed in real English, who says that? Where do you see it? It's a common name in the table that we made. Was it in any other English place that you found that, or you just made those names? We found it in the dictionaries. Who helped us? The app that you use say it's called Broomweed. Okay, okay. Because whatever you people will find must be universal. It will not be limited to only us. So that when people look for it, they can be able to find it. Thank you. So Herbert, that's it. They say the name is of Siosio is broomweed. Just like in Ewe we call it a hagbe because a ha is broom. Egbe means weed or herb. So some people call it ehagbe or dame dame, afideme. And Siosio is more of a guy. It's not a real even name, I think. And then I think they are writing the botanical name is Cedar acuta. Cedar acuta. It comes from the plant family of Malvac. Okay, so that's it. So please, you look for Cedar acuta. And I think recently our brother Baba Wakiri went and was looking. He found a lot and sent me the video. And then it was there. He showed me the video. He found some in his area. So that means you can even find it in the US. Okay, so let's go back to YouTube and see if we have any questions there. Okay, we have Benny Maswani here. Thank you very much, Bokor. This meditation nonsense never made sense to me as an African. Yes, I've been very, very honest with the way things that I have practiced. I have not seen any gain in it. Because what are you meditating about? Calling the name of a God that you never met before, you never had any contact with, you don't have any connection with them, you keep repeating that name. Only your legs will pain you. You'll be lucky if you don't get waist pain from that or back pain. But yeah, of course, that's another country's technique. But then it is not the technique of Africans. Our African traditional spirituality has nothing to do with meditation. We master the art of using nature to bring changes in nature. Our mantras or words of power are very practical. When you mention it, it is not that you have to imagine that the thing is happening. When you mention it, things happen. You don't need to imagine things. I had always used the sample of Togbe Abraham, where there is a mantra or a powerful name or holy word, call it whatever you like. But when the rain is about to fall, when you are doing something, you just mention that name to the nature and seek permission. And lo, before you even know, the rain will just hang up in the sky. You do your work finish and you ask it to come down and it comes down. So you don't need to do any meditation of anything. You just have to tell nature and nature listens. So thank you very much, Benny Maswani. I'm very grateful for that. And then we have my big brother, Martin Kobler. Say good afternoon, my lovely brother, Noga. I propose that our brother Vikram try to introduce your question and answer series of India so they can also enjoy our tradition and find their way in life. Yes, okay, Vikram. Vikram is a Hindu. It's actually, what I say, he's a Punjabi. Vikram is a Punjabi. Whether Vikram will be able to introduce our African traditional spirituality to the cities of India, and also whether they are interested in learning back about African traditional spirituality. That's one thing, because there's so much spirituality in India that the cities have their own kind of spirituality. Not necessarily Hinduism also has something to do with African traditional spirituality, but it's a very good suggestion. So if Vikram or Sena and other people are listening, you can let Vikram understand that there are the people, the cities in India, the black Africans who finally became part of India through either slavery or by traveling to work there, and in long time ago, whatever had brought them to India, but they have been integrated into the Indian society and they are there like a community, would have interest. And I even wonder how many of them have the internet at hand or even computers, but definitely there will be someone among them who is having all the same or somewhere in the Indian community. So maybe Vikram and Mario can do that and try to find a way to get to our brothers and sisters in the cities community in India. Thank you very much, Big Brother Martin Kobla. I'm very grateful. And then we have Mike Pereira. Good day, Papa. Every human has a destiny or star. Is there also a destiny and star for mankind as it is so that we can influence it for the good and bad? Thank you. Yes, we have our individual destinies, which is every human being has an individual destiny. And also, we also have a communal destiny, which maybe we'll say that is a destiny for mankind. A communal destiny is like all your take for one, like children of one father. They all have their individual destinies, but they all come under one parent or one father who now influences them with the destiny that he has come into, and their destiny has interacted with his own, and he starts to teach these children whatever he knows. Supposing that father is a thief, let's think so, or is a corrupt personality, and these children with their individual destinies have been attracted to be born by this father. So these children will learn the tricks of how to be thieves and also how to be corrupt in life. Because for them, corruption and stealing is normal. It's not a crime. It's not anything bad as such. Because to them, they will look at it as normal because that's what their father and mother or the people that they are associated with had been doing. So it is the way of life to them. So in this case, you will say that such people are having a communal destiny. That's why they all pass through that life. And the same way, it's also if the father of these children has a good heart and is a good person and is only thinking about progress and development of mankind, the children that will come through him will have a collective destiny, kind of attached or linked to the father figure or the mother figure's destiny. So whatever they will learn, they will also, as a group, as a team, will think the same way as their parents or their father and mother are thinking, so that they can also go towards developing of humanity and whatever progress is. So human beings have collective destiny as well. Take for instance, those of us who are born in Africa, we also have all these collective destiny in the sense that anybody who appears as a black person in Africa, the suffering, the challenges, and the difficulties that we go through every day is a general thing for all Africans across the continent. Unlike other people who may also have a collective destiny, for instance, being born a white man in a particular area, and that area will influence you, and you will be like that. So there is a collective destiny, and that collective destiny usually comes from your personal destiny. Whatever destiny leads you to, it is whatever you have done in this life is what is going to guide you into the next life and where you should be born and where you should reincarnate at. So your collective destiny will come from your personal destiny. So if you are able to do things that you want to do to make your personal destiny a good one, then you should be hoping that in your next manifestation on this physical plane, you will be in a community where uh, 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 you can benefit from the seeds and the efforts that you have made today in your life, and that's what will guide you. So Yes, there are community and destiny of humanity, but then it is our personal destinies that have chosen that. If you are born in an area where the people are just bandits and reckless people, you grow up with that, and that's what your life will take. And if you are born in a place where people are calm and learn about good things in life, that's how your world will be. But once in a while, you may be born from a very bottom of the ladder. But if your destiny is for you to reach the top, once in a while, some people will be born at the bottom of life, but because of their past destiny, it will make them climb the ladder through and get to the top, even though they were born at the bottom. And that is also their destiny, because when they are climbing the ladder from the bottom, their life will influence other people's life along the way by building other people and influencing other people, and also setting an example for other people to also emulate and develop to a higher state in the future. So destiny is a very, very important thing, and for that reason, when you are living in this life, do the best that you can in order to create a good destiny for yourself. We even believe, and it is in Hinduism also, it believed that when you are here and you are very reckless and very wicked and create all kind of problems and hard times for other human beings, the possibility of you coming back as a human being sometimes even doesn't exist. You may come back as a tree, as an animal, as a stone, or whatever. So please, let us be careful what we do. That's why when you learn spirituality, especially voodoo things, it is advisable that you don't use it to attack people, because you may be creating some karma that will affect you in your next existence. Thank you very much. And then we have Mario Young who said, Daddy, I live in the south. I haven't come across any cities this side of the country. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, Mario. I'm going to send you a video that my brother Martin Kobler sent to me some time ago, that some documentary was made about cities in southern part of India. So maybe when you watch the video, it probably will give you some clue to where you may find them. Thank you very much, Mario. So Mario again is saying that I haven't seen them in my state. Many of them live in the neighboring state, but on the outskirts of the state. Yes, we know that, we heard that. So I'm going to send you the video, then probably you may come across them. Thank you very much, Mario, for responding very quickly to this. And then we have our brother, Public Relations. Say hello, Papa. Public Relations again. Thank you for all the teachings and all the help. Thank you very much, Public Relationship. I'm very Public Relations. I'm very grateful, and thank you so much for all of you being part of this. So where are we now? Way back to Facebook. Okay. Hades Eugen is asking a question. Are you still learning? Yes. The Aves say, Nunya Ajidoi Asimetude, which means wisdom is like a baobab tree. Your hand can never totally embrace it and and cover it. You need to continue learning. In my life, I have always spoken. I have never stopped learning, and I'm learning from different people, whether you are old or young. If you have some information, some knowledge, some wisdom that I don't have, I am always under your feet to learn. I am always learning, and I'm continuing learning. I have never finished learning. I may finish my learning one day when it is my time to leave this earth. Maybe that is the time that I'll finish my learning from this part of the world. So yes, I am still learning. I'm not over with learning yet. Then how do you continue to learn? By listening and listening to everybody, by being patient, and also by being humble, by being simple. That's how you learn. When you have pride, you can never learn from anybody. A lot of people have gotten so much pride, even with just a simple initiation into a voodoo or into Ifa or Afa. In their head, they think that they are the goddess of the world, and they begin to behave as such. And yet, say you don't know anything yet. Even people who had been like my father's age, over 120 plus years, were still learning until they died. So how much more you who have just been introduced into one deity or one technique of learning about your ancestors, think that you know all. So when you are not having pride and you are simple and you are humble and you are honest with yourself, you will always be learning from others. So, do you have mentors or guides? Everybody is my guide and everybody is my mentor, whether child or adult, young or old. Whoever has something that I don't have is my mentor. Whoever knows something that I did not know is my guide. I have no pride, and I say it as it is, and I deal with human beings the way they appear to me. Thank you. Yes, let's go. We have our brother Solomon Boatin. It's been a long time, so how let's say before. It's been a while. Then greetings, Papa, and the AMT family. Thank you very much, Papa, for making my life comfortable. I'll call you for a discussion. Thank you very much. Thank you, Solomon. I'm very grateful. I'm happy to hear that things are becoming better for you. May the ancestors continue to be with you. Thank you. And then Hades Yugin is again saying imagination is just as real, if not more real than this reality. Yeah, maybe to you. To me, reality is real than imagination. Because from imagination, it is very hard to make anything practical. And if you imagine and you don't bring it into practicality, I don't know how real it is to you. But to me, until it's very practical, that I can see and feel and touch, I still wait. I don't just keep things in the imaginative state. They must materialize. And that's what Voodoo teaches me. And that's why I am teaching about Voodoo. Everything in this world is firstborn in invisible mind, creation, manifestation. This is philosophy. I'm not interested in philosophy. No, Hades Yugin, I'm not interested in philosophy. These are philosophies that have been written down millions and thousands of years ago. And we are not looking for that. It's just like in the Bible when so many things, angels dancing around God's throne, and we have been here suffering. Why should angels be dancing around God's throne in heaven while we, the black people, we are suffering here? And the white man tells you that if you obey your master, God will give you this thing. The white man is sitting in an air-conditioned room or a very cool area, and then let you, the black man, work in the sun from sundown, from dawn to dusk. And you are telling me that angels love you, black people, so much, and then they are dancing before God's throne, and your masters are whipping you. If today they are not even using whips to whip you, the way people are treated and cheated, a lot of people lock up in jails for simple misdemeanors and all this. And you are telling me that imagination is more real than reality. But that's for you. I'm not talking about philosophy here. We are talking about practicality of whatever it's said by our ancestors. Creation and manifestation starts in mind. Yeah, you were also in God's mind. Yes, everybody, before you become anything, first you have to imagine it. But until it becomes practical, that imagination is useless. Don't you think so? Before you can create anything, if you are only imagining it, if you don't manifest it on the physical plane, it is useless. So for us in African traditional spirituality, and especially in every voodoo, that manifestation must take place, and then people can be sure that what you are saying is real. It's not magic, it is reality. But when someone is sick and they bring a sick person to me, and then I saw that the person is sick, and then I pray to my deities, and they say they taught me or they teach me, go get this and get that herb, and I mash the herb and bath the person, and the person's problem is gone. That is a physical materialization of what the gods or the spirits are teaching. It is not just philosophical in the mind that, oh, this thing is that. I've read so much philosophy in this world, which is philosophy of creation and all this thing. But until something is real and practical and manifest, you are just that philosophy inside your head is just crazy. Sorry to say, but the way I look at spirituality, I have been into many before choosing this path. And this path is more practical to me and more realistic to me. That's why I stick to it. I'm not waiting for angels in heaven to come down and then come and solve my problem. If the angels are really there in heaven, then I can command them to come. I should learn how to command the angels to come and work beside me or teach me how to work. Yes, so please move it up. It's a Hades against African Gnostics and Sufis both say this world is illusion. The ancient Kemethians' whole doctrine is about how to die and never come back to make this world a better. How to die and never come back, not make this world a better place. Yes, I agree with you, but right now we are here. You are here now. You are not in Kemet. You are here now, and if a tsunami comes and break your house, you are here now. You are feeling it. If fire burn your farm and all your crops are burnt, you are here now. You forget about the Sufis, forget about ancient Kemethians. Even the place you call Kemet, people are still physically there now. So live in the moment, just like what Buddha had said. Forget about what the Kemethians did when you were not even, your great-grandfather was not even born. Whatever doctrine they have written down there, we are looking for practicality of things. So whether you are supposed to make this and you don't come back here, yes, I agree with you that we are trying to become divine. We want to merge into the bigger ocean. But how do you do that? By practically sticking to it here, now, and now. Forget about all those philosophies where people say stories. That's what is the difference between African traditional spirituality and this Gnostics or whatever you are saying. For us, we are inside the fire like a metal, and we can feel its heat. We cannot be inside the fire and then start imagining that we are sitting on ice. When fire is burning you and you are imagining that you are sitting on ice, the ice will melt because the heat will melt the ice. So we are talking about practically being here and understanding that here you are here and make the best out of it while you are here. That's what Voodoo is all about. That's why we say Voodoo is a way of life. It is not just imagining how somebody was in Kemet. That's what is disturbing most of our brothers and sisters in the diaspora. So we are kings, we were queens. Who told you that everybody in Africa was a king and a queen? Then who were the servants in Africa? If everybody in Africa in the past before slavery was kings and queens, so are you telling me that there was no normal, ordinary people in Africa at the time? So that kind of mentality that we are kings and we are queens. So if today you are liberal, you don't even have bicycle to ride, and you are saying in the past you were king. So what? Who cares about your kingdom? You are not king now. You cannot sit on the same table with kings. If in your past life or in your ancestors were kings and queens, Where's your palace? Let's be realistic about spirituality. Don't let us use imagination and deceiving or deceit of ourselves to think that that's what it is. Traditional African spirituality is real and it is very practical. And if you are able to get the real knowledge from the real people, you can change your life while you are here. That's what I teach you at African Magic Temple. Please, let's move on. Yeah, so Papa, please talk about Thursday's born and the meaning of Yahweh. I'm not very sure whether I know much about the days. I know in our Eve, or even that Thursday, Yahweh, Kofi, and all these things were not real Eve names. Those names were adopted from the Akan. Those names were adopted from Akan. And then, of course, it found its way into our Ewe culture and Ewe language. Ewe's